I grew up around healing people. Both my father and mother were healthcare providers. In fact, they met when my dad, an intern at Western Pennsylvania Hospital in Pittsburgh, met my mother, a nursing student there. He went on to become an ophthalmologist, performing refractions and surgeries in the small city of Washington, Pennsylvania. She put aside her registered nursing degree to have a family of 2 boys, but I can tell you her nursing skills frequently came in handy. Dad took his healing abilities pretty seriously. I remember the time my brother Greg and I sat at the kitchen table while Dad honed his cataract surgery techniques on a small bowl of pig's eyeballs. You see, they're the most similar anatomically to human eyes. I think he was a little disappointed that neither my brother nor I followed him into medicine, but he never out and out said so. In fact, I don't think I ever thought of myself as a healer. Although much more recently, I wish I could have been one. It was frustrating for me to realize that I could not heal my dad's 95-year-old flesh or reverse my mom's dementia. And I found out over the past 3 years that I could not heal my wife's ultimately fatal illness. But if the experts, researchers, and physicians could not heal my loved ones, why should I think that I would be able to do so? Well, to me, it seemed obvious. I should be able to restore them because they were mine. That's the disillusionment. Nobody could fix these things. It's simply not the nature of living things to be immortal, no matter how much we wish for them to be so. That's when I discovered that if I wanted to continue to function, I better pay some attention to finding treatment, not for those I could not save, but for myself. I didn't have to look long, and I didn't have to look far. Fewer than 10 hours after Jeannie died, Reverend Rebecca sat with me on my front steps, comforting me from a social distance. Rebecca was my healer. Neighbors, friends, family, members of UUCR and of my wife's Methodist church, all saw to my physical, emotional, and spiritual needs with cards and contributions with meals and calls. They were my healers, at least with everything I could have wanted except, thanks to the coronavirus, a hand to hold, a body to hug. Then I found in a discarded friendship a special person to embrace. She is my healer too. So many healers, each according to their abilities. Thank you all. I would give anything to be able to be thanking you in person. Instead, I look at the pages and pages of faces on my screen. Thank you. You are all healers for me. And since you did such a good job for me, well, I believe that you and I can do it for our country and our world. And boy, do we have a job to do. I think that almost every person in our nation is bearing fresh wounds right now. Wounds from the struggling economy, scars from the stress of coexisting with COVID-19 and from the loss of nearly 250,000 members of our national family. Injuries from careers and educational aspirations being absolutely blown up. Hurts from seeing the state of our climate and planet, the home that we hope to bequeath to our future generations. trauma from the horrific lead up to last week's election and the continuing uncertainty, worry, and anger that still follows it. There are tens of millions of hurt or angry voters whose candidates or issues did not prevail. There are damages from racial injustice, economic inequality, attacks on LGBTQ rights, wounds from a broken and judicial and correctional system. Well, just like physicians, we can choose to be specialists. Which of those issues is calling your name? Voting rights, gun policies, healthcare, immigration. My dad found his specialty when the Army recruiter said, "We need an eye doctor. We'll train you." Well, you can decide whether you prefer the front lines or behind the scenes support, whether you like working with people or working on issues. Are you a planner, a teacher, a doer, a builder? Everyone has a role in pulling this country and this world back together again. Find where your passion for comforting and healing lies, because there are millions of hurting souls who need you. And why do we care? Because they are ours. The world requires all kinds of healers, and like the Army, we can train you. Your healing won't come from holding a scalpel, but your hands will be involved. You won't use a stethoscope, but your ears may be your most important instrument. You won't prescribe an electrocardiogram, but you will touch the heart of everyone you care for. Now is the time to put aside the anger that's been building month after month inside me and focus on mending what we have injured. The UUCR website and e-news list the social justice initiatives that we're currently involved with. I invite you to join me in finding one that each of us can be passionate about.
Hello again. I offer these words for your reflection. There is a lot of conversation about the need to heal our broken selves, to heal our broken relationships, to heal a broken country. And I have been wondering where healing starts. Lately, I have been thinking that healing may need to begin within each of us. I recently watched an online presentation from Mosaic Theater of a work in development by playwright and actor Salma Yaney, 24. The one-man show, titled Dear Maple, is presented as a series of letters that Salma Yaney has written to his estranged father, who died in 2014. His goal in writing the play is to heal his relationship with his father. It is such an interesting and important idea that we can heal relationships with people who are gone. In his letters, Salma Yaney tells his father stories of important events in his life, events that his father missed. He describes how, in 3rd grade, he took his girlfriend at her word and didn't get her a gift or card for Valentine's Day, a big mistake. He tells his father how it felt to be one of a few Black students attending a white majority magnet program within a Black majority junior high school. He tells his father about meeting his wife, and he delves into his relationship with his father. He is explicit in telling his father, "This is how you hurt me." Salma Yaney did not meet his father until he was 12 years old. He had a loving stepfather, but he felt a deep need to know his biological father. So his mother reached out and arranged a meeting. Over a period of months, Salma Yaney spent time with his father, even visiting him at his home for a weekend and meeting his half-brother and his father's wife. Salmayani's father gave him money frequently, but the one time he asked for money for school clothes, his father abruptly cut him out of his life. Salmayani did not see his father again for 17 years. I relate strongly to Salmayani's effort to heal his relationship with his father. I too worked hard to heal my relationship with my parents. And although my parents were still living, most of the work of my healing was my own. In my case, I explored my relationships with the help of a therapist. There was a lot of work to do, and it took some years. I am not sure how the healing happened. I think by speaking my truth and confronting my anger and fear, and by learning how to view my parents as full people with struggles of their own. Over time, my day-to-day interactions with my parents improved, and I was able to accept both their limitations and their gifts of love. Upon reflection, I see that, like Salmayani, I undertook the healing process on my own. My parents weren't present for the work. I am currently confronted with an opportunity to heal a recent rift in my relationship with my brother, and I'm not sure what to do. We are on opposite sides of the political divide and had difficult words with each other back in March. We haven't really talked since. I know that I am afraid to reach out, and my first thought is that I don't want him to be angry at me. I want to make peace. But I wonder if there is more to it than that. Am I afraid of his anger or my own? Or maybe both? How do I engage together with my brother in the healing process? I read an article recently in the Washington Post about Chris Evans's website, A Starting Point, that he and his partners developed to promote political dialogue. Their goal is to provide a space where politicians from both sides of the aisle can discuss their views about a range of issues with honesty and without the pressure of the partisan news cycle. Evans has reached out to politicians whose positions range from very conservative to very liberal, and he personally conducts all interviews. Apparently, he is inviting and respectful and has a knack for putting people at ease. I have been exploring A Starting Point, and a number of representatives and senators are contributing to the site. There are different presentation formats, each of which includes short videos of individual office holders discussing an issue of interest to them. It is interesting to me that the interviewer is not present in the videos. The videos focus on the office holder and their position on an issue. When I first visited the site, I noticed that I was more interested in watching videos from Democratic rather than Republican office holders. But now I am making a choice to watch videos from individuals spanning the political spectrum. It is a very conscious choice, and I hope that I will find some healing by listening to a range of views that are presented calmly and are well articulated. I am wondering if at some level I am practicing how to engage with my brother, how to undertake the healing of our relationship. Can I make a choice to engage with him? This is where I tell you that Salmayani's play, Dear Maple, is only half finished. Salmayani has written 7 letters, and there are more to come. I am wondering if the play is half finished. Does that mean he is half healed? I found his voice compelling, at times angry and yet deeply compassionate. To me, Dear Maple felt both personal and universal, evocative and provocative. I can't wait to hear the rest.